All right. Thank you to everybody that's watched my YouTube videos and Facebook's videos. Chucky D. This is my third little lesson. This lesson, I'm going to go over some basics of simple beginning soloing. This guitar is my Jackson Dinky, the 24 fret guitar. I keep this guitar always in the key of E. It's my favorite soloing guitar. What we're going to do here is I'm going to take just one little block. At the end I might add a little more, but we're going to start with one little block of the fretboard, which is right here. It's going to be in the key of C, meaning only whole notes, no sharps, no flats. And I think it's a great place to start if you want to learn how to solo. My personal style always has a little bit of a bluesy style to it. It's just embedded in me. Everybody else, you know, it has their own distinct style. I'm just going to give you a couple examples, a few different techniques, and let's go ahead and start. I'm going to actually name off these notes. This is just going to be basically part of a scale right here. And their scales basically make up something called modes, which is a whole nother story. There's 7 modes, Ionian mode, you know, Lucretian mode, all these different modes. We're just going to stick to this area right here, which is in the main, you know, it's the Ionian mode, which is the main key of C. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go start from here on E, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go back forward, using only downstroke picking, hitting each of the notes. So it's going to start like this. I'm going to go E, F, G, A, B, C, G, E, F, G, A, B, C, G, E, F, G. Okay, that's just hitting there. As you notice, the last note I hit, I use something called a vibrato, which is extremely important in soloing. Another thing I'm going to point out too is it's very important in soloing to be able to use all of your fingers in different places, because when you're doing a solo that may start here and go up to here, you're going to want to be able to transfer your fingers to make it easiest to get to the next place. So you need to be able to vibrato with all of them. And a good little thing that can help you is doing stuff just like this. And we'll actually do it down here. We'll do it right here on the E, the bottom E, one of my favorite notes. And I'll kind of demonstrate using all my fingers. That right there is very important to be able to get all of your fingers to where at any point in the fretboard you can use any one of your fingers to start or end. So when you could be ending here and then going to here to move. Now I'm going to give you an example of a few techniques, just basic improvising a little bit of a solo in this area. When I'm doing something like that, and I'm starting here, and I'm rolling there, what I'm doing is I'm hitting this first note, and I'm actually only hitting that, and it's called tying in, where I'm hitting this note, and I'm moving to here and here all in one shot, like this. Now you can also do it picking each one of them. And depending on what you want to do, picking them can give you that more solid sound, but sometimes tying them in gives it more of a smoother sound. And so I'm going to use actually both those techniques in this one little line right here. Watch. what I'm doing there is I'm going. I'm hitting distinctly downstroking. I'm downstroking each note. Now the end I'm going to tie it in, so I'm going to go. Now the end, that vibrato. Now there's something else that I really love, which is a slide. It's like this. Well, I'm starting here, I'm hitting it, ending with a vibrato. So I'm going and I'm sliding and I'm doing a vibrato. Now vibrato, it's when I hit this right here, this note here, I'm going to do a vibrato. I'm hitting the note and I'm pressing down pretty hard and I'm bending it very fast and holding it. It's a lot harder than it looks, actually, and it's something that you cannot practice enough. You can just sit here doing this. Now you can even bend them up and down slowly. You can blend it. There's no limit to what you can do with a vibrato like this. You can practice those little things endlessly. And I think it's important that you, like I said before, using all of your different fingers. Now I'm going to give you a little example. I'm actually going to use this, and I'm going to jump over to the next part of this scale to make it a little bit bigger and throw in a few techniques just to see what's possible. And, you know, I'm just making this up, improvising, but I'm keeping it in these areas here. I mean, you know, just use a few different techniques and give you an example. Doing that using hitting single notes where I'm going, you know, going using slides, you know, which are, you know, I love the slide. Now this is something also I'm going to add in here. This is something called a hammer on, where I'm going to start from here and I'm going to hit this note, and I'm going to use this finger, my ring finger, and hammer. Now, with that technique into a vibrato, it's very powerful. That little riff there is one of my favorite kind of little techniques where it has such a powerful feel, and it's just a couple notes that are very powerful because of the technique rather than the amount of notes that I'm using. Adding different techniques to a small part, it can sound so powerful. But when you add a bunch of them together and stops, and it's infinite. There's no end to what you can do on the guitar as a soloist. So again, if you're just starting out, you cannot practice the little things enough, and you need to know your scales too. Now maybe I'll do that in another lesson. I'm just doing a small part. I mean, as you can see, there's lots of notes. It's just mathematically, it's billions and billions of possibilities that you can do. But, you know, just like this right here, starting with the scale, you can't practice this enough. And just go up and down that little part of the scale and just mess with it. Try different stuff. You know, add some, you know, some slides and hammer-ons. That was something I just did at the end called a pinch harmonic. Now that's taking the pick and pinching it with your thumb right here on the string. And it sounds really cool up on the higher notes. That's pretty tricky to get, but once you get it, you got it. It can be done everywhere, pretty much across the neck. And harmonics is a whole nother can of worms, but I shouldn't get too far. But that's one technique that you can put on these notes. And I guess, I mean, this is, like I said, it's endless. I'll throw one more last technique. I'm going to do a little tremolo picking, where I'm picking pretty fast in this little area of the neck where I've been soloing. Okay, well, I hope that's some insight for you. It's a lot to chew in a little short space, but keeping it simple, starting right here. You can pick any part. I suggest if you're first starting, you can pick here, wherever you feel more comfortable. I particularly like to start new students with right here. Let's just get right down to where you can do something that sounds cool. You know? And when you're starting in the guitar, when you can get something, the first time you get something that sounds cool, you become addicted to it. And I think that's important. Is I don't want to start any students playing "Mary Had a Little Lamb" or something that's going to bore them. So I like to try to start something exciting to get you motivated to want to learn more. Well, thank you all. Have a good one.